What is Genshin Impact? Genshin Impact is an action role-playing game developed and published by MiHoYo. The game features an anime-style open-world environment and an action-based battle system using elemental magic and character switching. The game is free to play and is monetized through unlitty gacha game mechanics, through which players can obtain new characters and weapons. The base game is expanded regularly through patches using the game as a service model. The globe. Genshin Impact's world is pretty large and is constantly getting larger. There's a lot to do and explore, and honestly, 100%ing the map will take you hours. The areas are all somewhat unique. You've got Mondstadt, which is a beautiful city filled with love and joy. However, sometimes in this city, the punch fighting occurs, so if you're visiting, be careful, I guess. You have other areas like Liyue and Inazuma, which are both litty in their own ways. They look nice and they're fun to explore. However, a lot of the areas are kind of repetitive, as there are a lot of areas that are just, grass. You've got the Sumeru Desert, which is pretty cool. 8 out of 10, too much sand. When exploring the broad Sekai, you have this thing called a stamina bar. You see this thing in other games like Fortnite and Breath of the Wild. I get why it's there, but it's still pretty annoying, not gonna lie, especially when you need to travel to far places. And the good news is that you can teleport to far off places using teleport waypoints, which is cool and saves me a lot of time. However, you'll still be walking a lot. The stamina bar is especially annoying when you're trying to climb mountains or swim to places. It's a sad day for all when you're almost at the top. Yes, you're so close, my friend. A little more, you ran out of stamina, fell and died. GG, no resuck, suck. If you take a trip to Rosalina's Ice World, aka Dragonspine, you will see this feature which I like and dislike, where since it's cold, after a short amount of time, you'll start taking ice damage, and if you don't find the heat source fast, you'll end up freezing to death. I like it because it's kind of realistic and adds some difficulty to the game, but I also dislike it because it makes Dragonspine a pain to explore and not very fun at times. I don't go to Dragonspine a lot, 1 because I don't really need to, and 2 because it's annoying. In conclusion, world big, me happy. The people. As of this recording, there are 64 characters in Genshin Impact, so there's a lot to choose from, and by choose I mean summon for and pray you get who you want, and if not, uninstall the game and I don't know, get League of Legends or something. Anyway, one of my favourite characters is my boy Diluc. He goes all out in the fight battling and uses his 3-piece combo to vanquish the enemies. My main team is Diluc, Fischl, Xingqiu and Chongyun. They are a very strong team and have helped me beat some tough bosses. I have recently formed the second team to help me defeat the Spiral Base. With this team, I can trigger elemental reactions like Agaga and Hyper Bloom to defeat my enemies. The team consists of Keqing, Dendro MC, Yelan and Sucrose. Sucrose helps the damage become more explosive, you get me? Characters I think look cool but I don't have because I'm a brokey are Zhongli, and yeah, that's it. I want Zhongli. Building of the people. This is by far the category I spend most of my time on, as it is by far the most detailed in Genshin Impact. In Genshin Impact, you can upgrade a character's level, artifacts, talents and weapons, and that's only the surface. To get a character up to speed to the peak of punch fighting litty, it takes a while, not gonna lie, especially at first, but once you know what you're doing, it gets better, but still takes a while. First, let's start with character level up. This is pretty straightforward. You level up your character and they get stronger. However, doing this costs more, which is a form of currency in Genshin Impact. The main part is whenever your character hits a milestone like level 20, 40, 50, etc., you have to pay a bunch of materials to send them, plus a Mora bonus. These materials are stuff you'll get from exploring the world and fighting bosses. For example, to upgrade Chongyun, you need to go around the world and collect stones called Core Lapis and fight ice bosses to get materials like Shivida Jade Gemstone and Hoarfrost Core. And once you get up there in levels like 80 and 90, you're gonna need a lot of this stuff, which can be pretty time consuming. So imagine doing this for 4 characters and then an extra 4 characters if you want to tackle the Spiral Base, which is basically like this dungeon type thing where you have to fight a bunch of monsters under like time restrictions, and it gets harder and harder. Upgrading weapons is also fairly simple, however, you need a lot of minerals to upgrade these weapons and Amora, which again will take a lot of exploring. See the pattern? Genshin wants you to do a lot of exploring and farm materials, which again takes a long time. Now here's my least favorite part of character building, and it's artifacts. This stuff takes way too long, and getting the perfect artifacts is near impossible. I hate artifacts farming. Why? It's because when building characters, mainly DPS characters, you only want stats on it that are attack, crit rate and crit damage, but a lot of the time you end up getting artifacts that have a main stat of defense, and even when you get a decent artifact that has a main stat of attack or crit, then the substats will be awful. There will be defense and HP. But you may ask, why is getting defense and HP bad? Well, it's because if you have a high attack, crit rate and damage, you can destroy bosses in 2 seconds. But if you keep getting defense, then you're gonna have to fight longer drawn out battles. And remember, you're gonna have to fight these bosses multiple times, and I'm sure you would rather spend 1 hour dealing with them than 3 days. So grinding for artifacts sucks, and to make things worse, you have to do the hardest level 90 domains to get guaranteed 5-star artifacts, and sometimes they are too hard to do by yourself, so you end up going online and doing co-op and teaming up with people to clear these domains. The problem with this is sometimes you get good teammates and clear the domain easily and get a good artifact or a bad one, or, which is more likely, you'll get awful teammates and we get destroyed by the domain, which means no artifact, or we barely pull through after tough battle only to get a garbage defense artifact. Talents are also kinda long, as you need to, yep, you guessed it, do domains. They aren't as bad as domains for artifacts. All you have to do is beat the domain, get a talent books, and yay, there you go. Until actually you need these golden crowns to get your talents to the higher litty levels of the new ascended realm, and these golden crowns are very limited, just throwing it out there. And finally, we have weapons. Here's a step-by-step guide on how to upgrade your weapons. 1. Find rocks. 2. Feed weapons rocks. 3. Level up. 4. Ascend weapon with annoying domains. 5. Rinse and repeat. 6. Also moral cost. The end. The narrative. I enjoy the story, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay a lot of attention to it. Why? Because there's way too much dialogue. Seriously, you're gonna be mashing buttons a lot because there's a lot of unnecessary dialogue. The story is interesting once you get past all the dialogue. There are some really cool cutscenes in Genshin Impact, and they somewhat make up for the Odama Rashengan text you have to go through every 2 seconds. Off my head to memory, the story of Genshin Impact is the MC and his or her brother/sister, depending on what gender you pick, gets separated after litty punch fighting, and somehow you end up in Mondstadt, and now you have to go and find your sibling. You will go through many fun super mega adventures and Knuckles to find them, fight bosses, and you have to deal with stupid artifact farming. So yeah, story good, text bad. The parties. Genshin Impact updates pretty regularly, and the updates are usually pretty good, and you get lots of Prima Gems, so you can pour them back into getting more characters and ending up either happy or depressed depending on whether you get the character or not. They also release new characters and cool life updates, so with a new update comes new events, which I tend to enjoy. They are cool stuff that you can do that are not only fun, but you also get rewards from completing them. Recently, as of this recording, there was a cool event called Genius Invocation TCG, which is this nice card game where you have to use strategy and luck to beat the enemy's card and take a super crazy almighty W. Cool, right? And you have to throw dice and stuff, which yeah, sounds kinda nerdy because it is, but it's fun, I promise. And there was also this other event that I did with my friend Lionel, who I've called LJ in previous videos. Me and him did this event where we had to place torrent and defend our bases and stop enemies from getting to our base. There are different torrents that represent different elements like water, fire, wind, etc. and they all cost different amounts of currency and shoot in different ways, which has made the game really engaging, like Blue TD but better. Me and my cousins played another event that was a survival game where you had to complete minigames to survive, like Mario Party, but different. If you ever play Genshin Impact, make sure you play the events, as not only do you get a lot of rewards from them, they are generally a lot of fun, a lot more fun than doing the story, not gonna lie. Finisher. In conclusion, I've had a lot of fun playing Genshin Impact. I'm pretty much an OG at this game as I've been playing since launch. I became high ranked in the game and pretty much had nothing to do, so I stopped playing the game for a few months. But after my friend Lionel kept bugging me get the game again, the game had changed a lot. They had added a ton of new areas like Inazuma and Sumeru and a lot of new content. I played the game again for a while, but I could never get into it like I used to. I used to really love this game to the point that I was speaking about this game in school and excited to leave class so I could quickly go home and complete my daily commissions. I would never go to bed without completing my daily duties in the game. I won't stay up late doing them. My grades kinda suffered because I was so in love with this game. Eventually I fixed up, and nowadays I don't really play Genshin Impact or games in general. I've been working on becoming a lot more productive so I can post more frequently while keeping up with school and work. The only time I really play games is with friends, and still sometimes I struggle with playing with them too long or playing with them at really late hours instead of sleeping and waking up tomorrow and being productive. But despite the side tangent I just took, I had fun with the game game, but it's not really a game I think I could ever be sucked into again. Another game I was really sucked into was this mobile game called One Piece Bounty Rashi. That also had stupidly long level up mechanics and dumb gacha mechanics. I pretty much hate gacha games as they tend to be a waste of time and especially money, but that's a video for another day. And speaking of videos for another day, I'll probably make a video on One Piece Bounty Rashi and how much I neglected schoolwork to play it for hours. I've come a long way from being undisciplined and spending hours and hours on games while neglecting important work, and I would like to share this experience with you as I believe many of you can relate. Expect future videos on these topics in the future. This is the part where I say subscribe, so subscribe to get an all-day breakfast sandwich mailed straight to your house, but don't blame me if it's rotten when it reaches you though.